turn on that lamp with the power of my mind through the electronics in this hat.
What Discount Lando Calrissian isn't telling you is that that technology is well over 70 years old. This is a toy that came out 15 years ago called MindFlex. And by focusing, the headset picks up my EEGs and makes the ball rise and fall. The problem is, this is extremely old technology and is nothing better than a children's game. And for somebody who is a pseudoscientist and pseudo-celebrity to get up here and ooh and ah you like this is some big deal is disingenuous at best. So I'm going to take you through the current state of remote brain influencing and EEG entrainment technology, and you're going to be absolutely shocked. Technologies they let you know about publicly require headsets. But the truth is, we haven't required a headset to remotely monitor or influence your mind in well over 50 years. This is U.S. patent 3,951,134. It was granted in 1976, but filed in 1974, and that's by Robert G. Malik. As you can see, it's the apparatus and method for remotely monitoring and altering brainwaves. Summary of the invention is the present invention relates to the apparatus and method for monitoring brainwaves, wherein all components of the apparatus employed are remote from the test subject. More specifically, high-frequency transmitters are operated to radiate electromagnetic energy of different frequencies through antennas which are capable of scanning the entire brain of the test subject or any desired region thereof. In addition to passively monitoring his brainwaves, the subject's neurological processes may be affected by transmitting to his brain through a transmitter, compensating signal. The latter signals can be derived from the received and processed brainwaves. For anyone familiar with my previous work on Hemisync and the Gateway experience, you know that I am extremely leery of the Monroe Institute, now after having found out that they have been taking recordings of people's brainwaves in altered states of consciousness for decades. And now that I'm showing you a patent from 1976, where the state of technology then was allowing them to transmit brainwaves into someone else's mind and have the recipient have the same experiences, you should know why. The technology being talked about in this patent doesn't even require anything as cutting edge as 5G. They were using radar, and they were allowed them to remotely monitor fighter pilots, and that was the original use case for this. There have, of course, been many advances in this technology since 1976, such as patent 6,011,991 from 2000, and that's a communication system and method including brainwave analysis and or use of brain activity by Martirosyan. There have been published abstracts from universities, such as this one from 2014, The Dynamic Dielectric at a Brain Functional Site of an EM Wave Approach to Functional Brain Imaging by Li and Jia. And the reality is that public references to this technology are extremely sparse and limited because this has stayed in the black world of military technology for the last 50 years. This book, put out by the United States Air Force's Scientific Advisory Board in 1994, talks all about it. It's New World Vistas, Air and Space Power for the 21st Century, the ancillary volume. On page 89, we have biological process control, talking about advances in neuroscience. I'd like to read some of this to you, and you tell me what you think. In it, they talk about the, quote, development of electromagnetic energy sources, the output of which can be pulsed, shaped, and focused, that can couple with the human body in a fashion that will allow one to prevent voluntary muscular movements, control emotions and thus actions, produce sleep, transmit suggestions, interfere with both short-term and long-term memory, produce an experience set, and delete an experience set. Another section talks about the possibility of creating high-fidelity speech in the human body, raising the possibility of covert suggestion and psychological direction. And finally, using remote EEG, making it possible to take this concept one step further and duplicate the experience set in another individual. The U.S. Air Force in this document is talking about the reality of taking someone's experiences, decoding it, then transmitting it back into somebody else and having them experience the same experience set. Think about this for a second. This was being talked about in 1994 based on technology that was 20 years older than that. In previous videos, I presented information about Army Dr. Henry Puharich, who spent decades perfecting ways to influence people's minds, and this information dovetails perfectly. So let me ask you this. How common have psychological issues become? How common has it been for you to get on the internet and find out that so many people are having ups and downs and anxiety and they're tired or lethargic and they have no idea why, but we all seem to be experiencing this as a group? How many of these psychological issues existed with our parents or our grandparents' generation? And how many of these seem to be something artificial that's being broadcast into the environment? How often do you go on vacation? You go out to the woods or go camping, go to a national park, and somehow you just feel fine. Replicating those natural frequencies and that natural energy is one of the reasons why I'm always wearing my magnetic pulsar, because it basically blocks out. It's the only effective countermeasure I know of technologically to block out what exists living here in the city. So I hate to be the one that has to break the news to you, but guys like Neil deGrasse Tyson will never tell you the truth about this. The real, truthful, scientific reality of the current technological state of the art is that it is completely possible that negative experience sets, depression, anxiety, and all the rest can be beamed into a large population to keep them down, keep them lethargic and tired, confused, on the treadmill of life, without enough energy or wherewithal to stand up and do something about it. Is this the controlled, psycho-civilized society that is being planned for the future? I'll let you decide.
Yeah.